love what I do so much that I never feel like selling. In fact, I feel bad when people don't read my books or do my thing, right? I feel bad. I'm going to encourage you to love what you do that much. This isn't hyperbole. This is an extra bonus here today that we're sharing. Like, love the company you're with. Love the opportunity they have. Either help, if you don't absolutely love it, help improve it. Or find another company to work with. I mean it. I've never seen anybody have sustainable success if they didn't love what it is they're providing. Everybody's looking for the magic to sell. The magic is your heart. That's number one. Number two, if you don't make it about you, it takes the pressure off. See, I've been speaking on stages on and off for 20 years, but I really wasn't a big stage guy. I did a decade on TV before I really even went on stage. So people used to think because I was good on camera, I could just jump on a stage and be good with it. I remember being petrified to go on stage. So think about this. I'd done TV for a long time. Tony Robbins changed my life, right? I wrote in my journal 25 years ago, someday I wanted to meet Tony and thank him for what he did for my life, and change the trajectory of my life. I went into a new business because of that. So all these things. Then fast forward 10 years ago, we become friends. We're friends about a year. He's like, hey, I'm doing a tour through Australia and Asia. Why don't you come with? I'm like, okay. He's like, we're going to go to Tokyo first, and then we're going to go to Shanghai. 10,000, 15,000 people in each place. Great. I go with Tone. Nobody better in the world on stage than this guy. He lives through his heart. He is the epitome of not selling. It's service, right? He's there to change people's lives. So I watched Tony for 3 hours, and I got to go on after him. And I'm completely freaked out. I'm like, and they're all listening through translation because it's in Tokyo, it's in Japanese. Long story short, I went on, I was nervous, I was a little cottonmouth, I was in my head thinking, this is what I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to disappoint Tony. I'm not going to be the best I can be for them. I'm not going to present myself. All I was doing was thinking about me. That night, we jump on a plane, we fly to Shanghai. Tony calls me, he's like, hey, come up on the floor above you. I go sit down with him, and he said, how'd today go? Still, we mentor each other in the ways that were great. And he said something to me that'll never, ever go away. He said, you know what I saw? Same thing I did for 10 years. I was worried about me. It was I was going to be the best I can be. Was I going to deliver value? He said, it's not about you, brother. It's about them. Is there anybody that can deliver your specific message as good as you? I said, no. Do they need this message? I said, yes. Do they want another level? I said, absolutely. He said, then stop thinking it's about you. Stop thinking it's about impressing me. It's about them. Go serve them. It was night and day. The next day, no cottonmouth. I couldn't wait to get out there and deliver value to them. So you have to think about, can you change, listen, with the company you're with, can you change people's lives, yes or no? Can you change people's lives? Can you help improve them? Well, it's about them. Start understanding them more. Write this down. People buy from you, will learn from you, will be a part of your team when they feel understood, not when they understand you. You see, when I went on stage the first time, I was trying to get them to understand me. When I went back in Shanghai, I wanted them to feel understood. We want to enter conversations already going on in the person we're talking to. You want to finish their sentences. Let them feel that you get where they are. And if you truly can impact their lives, then everything you should do should be about serving them. And when you make it about them and you take your own ego out, selling becomes exponentially easier. Make it about them. And again, if you say to yourself, I'm not really sure my company's what I think is, dig deeper. Maybe you're missing out on all the good. And if not, then maybe it's time to jump ship. Like, you must. I'm just telling you, the ingredient for the most successful people I know, the people that sell the best without seeming like they sell, are the ones that absolutely love what they do. And they know it changes lives. So that's just, I have to say that because I don't want to teach, I want to teach some cool selling tactic strategy here in a moment. And I would hate to do that and put you down the road of selling something you don't believe in because it's temporary and it doesn't feel good. We've all sold something, you're like, I hope that's good. But then there's another feeling when you go, man, every time someone says yes to work with me, every time someone says yes to get what I'm delivering to them, I get to change their life. Woo! And you celebrate every single week. You watch the numbers come in and the numbers turn into how many lives you impacted. Right? How cool is that to say, I'm the byproduct of impacting lives is my bank account is growing. Isn't that a different feeling? Isn't that a different feeling? All right, so I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet here. I want to share something. If you don't have patience with me, this is a bonus. I wasn't prepared for this, so I'm just going to make it casual. You guys okay if we hang out casually for lunch? I see some of you stuffing food in your face. Awesome. So all I'm going to ask is, have faith that I promise that whatever it is I share, it has a reason behind it. Can you trust me? Let me just see in the chat. Can you trust me on that one? Okay. All right, guys. I want to talk about my relationship with my wife for a second. There's a reason behind it. So I tell you, I am married. This is going to sound a little bit nauseating, especially to the dudes. I'm married to the love of my life. And I don't have a relationship that is Instagram friendly, where we say, hey babe, come here, let's take a picture, smile, let's pretend we're doing something. I'm madly in love with my wife. We've been together 5 years. Yesterday morning, I literally put stickies all over her mirror in her bathroom. I was like, I love you more than life. And I wrote her a letter because she was going through COVID, and her and my son are kind of stuck home. I'm kind of quarantined the other side of the house. She's dealing with everything. No one can come help. So she's handling the whole house. She's handling my son, and she's doing it like a trooper with a smile. I've been writing her notes. I respect this woman. I admire this woman. I fall more in love with her every single day. In fact, I'm going to brag a little bit. Can you pull this picture up? This is my family. That is my wife, Lisa. That is my daughter, Bree. My son, Luca, that she's holding. He's 20 months old now. My little boy, Brody. I'm so lucky and fall in love more every single day. Now, I say that to you because I want to share something with you. Now I want to pull back the curtain a little bit. I was married before, so hence my older kids. And I didn't do it right, to be honest with you. It wasn't her, it wasn't me, it was us. I carried some of the old baggage in my life. I didn't recognize some of the things that I inherited from parents that were married 9 times, like pulling the exit bus chute and lots of things. So that relationship, I'm not advocating divorce, that relationship was over way before it actually ended. And I bet to say every day for 5 years, I thought about leaving. And then finally, I got the nerve, and I was scared that my kids would go through. If anybody went through divorce, you understand what I'm saying. I saw them every single day. I used to drive them to school every day. I used to make them lunch every day, right? And now all of a sudden it's going to be half the time. I was completely freaked out. I had anxiety for the first time in my life when I knew it was finally going to happen. Like legit anxiety. I wasn't anxious. I had legit anxiety. I was drinking a glass of wine, and I would pop in Xanax once a week, and I don't even take an aspirin. Then I realized something. There's a couple things that I did. I realized the reason I had anxiety is because I was projecting what my childhood was. And I was projecting the chaos, and I wasn't going to allow that to happen. So I went really deep on understanding, how do you build a child-centered divorce? How do you truly become friends with your previous spouse? Not fake. Like, how do you make everything first? And I read books, and I got a therapist, and I got a counselor, and I interviewed people who did it. And after obsessing on this, I promise this is going someplace, after obsessing on this, I found 4 things that could make all the difference in the world. And I got out of anxiety, and the marriage ended, and my kids were thriving, and I became friends with my ex. It's 4 things. Now, after that, I'm like, wow, who am I going to be? Am I just going to be super dad? Am I going to get another relationship? And then I realized this. I realized that if I just looked for the perfect woman and brought me with my old habits into a new relationship, expecting that to fix me, expecting me to be fulfilled, I realized I would just bring the same old me to a relationship, and no matter how good it was, I would eventually screw it up. Because I would just bring the same dude. No matter how great my wife was or how good a woman it was, I would bring the same crap that probably made the first one end. So I worked on me, and I went internal. And I looked at, what did I do wrong, and how do I keep it alive, and how do I keep passion alive, and how do I keep intimacy alive? And I discovered another 5 things, no exaggeration, through interviews, through books obsessively, through reading, through therapy. And I said, I want this kind of woman in my life, but to get a badass, beautiful woman that I want, beautiful on the inside and the outside, to get that woman, what kind of man do I have to be? And I discovered 5 things that really allowed me to step up as a man. And I'm going to brag again, this is my wife. and I, can you post back up? This is us a couple days ago for my birthday. We went out to dinner. I'm telling you, I went to dinner 5 years in. I stared in her eyes and I'm like, how am I still loving? Okay, now I'm sitting there bragging about my beautiful wife. She's beautiful on the inside too, an amazing mom. So why am I sharing all this with you? Like, Dean, I thought this was a bonus about selling. I want to ask you something. Who in here would love to have a relationship like I'm describing? I mean real, not for Instagram. I'm talking about fall more in love over a day. I have to tell you, you know what's worth $100 million to me? And what drives me to write notes and be that man for her so I can have the woman that she is? Literally, if I walk in a room and my wife hasn't seen me, I don't know, in an hour, when my wife turns and looks at me, she looks at me like it's the first time she ever saw me. Like, she looks at me in a way that I feel like the luckiest man alive. I'm sharing this with you because if I said to you right now, and I don't, that I took the 4 things that allowed me to have a child-centered divorce and become friends with my ex, and the 5 things that allowed me to have the greatest relationship of my life, and I took those 9 things and I created a course, a program, I wrote a book, who would like to have it? Without me even selling it, who would like to have and know those 9 secrets that I use? Honestly, put it in the chat. What I want to share with you is, I would bet to say if I spent another 10 minutes and I really created that course, which I haven't, I could sell it to the majority of you here. I don't have anything to sell, nothing. But what I want to teach you today is something that most people miss. And I call it story, teach, action. I want you to write that down. Story, teach, action. You see, most people, and I'm going to evolve that to something even a little deeper called hook, story, close. But we're going to start with story, teach, action. So one thing, if I told you that story about my wife, and I just literally, I have those pictures. Do you understand when they asked me? They're off my phone. I was scrambling and sending them to Mike in the other room. I'm like, grab these pictures, love my family, I love my wife. Like, I want to tell this story. I just told you a story. And in that story, I told you I screwed up, which I did. I told you I really worked hard to find the answers. And I told you I'm in the greatest relationship of my life, and it's a true story. That's my story. That allows you to go, oh, I understand what Dean's saying. I understand why he's got a great relationship. Oh, look at his beautiful wife. Look at his gorgeous kids. Like, they seem happy internally. I mean gorgeous exteriorly. You can see the happiness in their eyes. So I told you that story. Then what if I just spent a couple of minutes with the teach section? I told you the story. So for those of you, can I give you the best definition of marketing? Attract those you want and repel those you don't. Attract those you want and repel those you don't. I saw some, it made me so happy. I saw some people say, I already have that relationship. You don't need it. Right? So I'm repelling you. But if any of you would like to take the relationship to another level, or be in a relationship and start one that good, you were listening. So the story got you to listen, got you engaged, and got you to see why I'm qualified to share it with you. Does that make sense? So then what if I went to a little bit of teaching? Diego, Roland, I see Amanda, if I got to a little teaching, I said, hey, you know what one thing I did? I realized that you could, this is true, don't keep score in a relationship. You want to screw yourself? Keep score and start thinking, man, I do so much for my wife. Man, I pay the bills, I work hard, I come home, and there was no dinner last week, or vice versa, you know, the woman to the man to the woman, right? The other day, I looked beautiful, he didn't even say I looked nice, and you start keeping score, and it starts building up, and when you keep score, what ends up happening? You start building resentment. I do all this, I did this the other day, she didn't do this, he didn't do this. I got something for you. Ready for this crazy thing I'm going to say to you? What if you felt love? What if you felt love when you gave love? What if you felt love when you gave it and you didn't keep score? What if you felt love when you gave it, you didn't keep score, and you realized that when you did that, the score was actually in your favor? Because you gave so much of yourself and it was unconditional and it didn't have strings on it, that the flood of love that could come back to you is way bigger than you ever imagined. And if you do that, and you do it for a year, and you try everything, and you still got someone that won't do it, then maybe it's time to make some adjustments. But I'm telling you, that's only one of the 9 things I learned. So, I told you a story. I repelled everybody with a perfect relationship because you don't need it. But if you think you want, I told you a story. Then I taught you one thing. What if I said that's only one and I didn't even go deep on it? But I got the 9 other principles that I'd love to sell you today, that I'd love to be a part of. I took a year, I sat down with my wife, we wrote down every single principle that we learned to have the greatest relationship ever. My kids are thriving even though they went through a divorce. My youngest son, and I told you, then I would take ask the action, story, teach, action, the action to go buy the course, come to my workshop. Make sense? So sometimes, if you want to take your sales to another level, follow the story, teach, action framework. Because everybody loves telling a story. I'm going to break this down. Again, this is last minute here. I want to break something down for you. The story part is not really a story. It is a scene from your life. It is a scene from your life. One little part. You didn't need to know my whole life story, or that I had dyslexia when I was a kid, or I lived in a trailer park, or my dad had a violent temper. You don't need to know any of that. You got a scene from my life. I was married. I screwed it up. I went through a divorce. I changed. I found the love of my life. Now I'm happy. You got the hero's journey for that particular thing. If I was going to tell you how I'm a New York Times bestselling author, I might tell you the secret I learned to write books using voice audio on my phone and how to get a book done really quick. I would just tell you the scene of my life about the book. If you want to be in the self-education industry, I'd tell you how Tony and I got in that industry and how we do it, how we thrived and how we figured out and how you could do it. I would tell you a little scene. Find the scene of your life that lives, what did I say? Enter conversations already going on in the mind of your prospect. Understand their pain and their pleasure. What are they moving away from? What are they moving towards? And how do you share a story of your life of how you started in network marketing, how it transformed your life, how it gave you freedom. Give a little scene of your life that makes people, I look at it through a physical, I look at it through like looking at somebody physically and watching them go like, all right, tell me what's on your mind. And you get done with the story and you're like, wow, okay, what's next? And you can tell them a scene from your life. Then you teach them a little bit. Let me tell you how I did it. You see, most people think you gotta ask all your friends and family and you run out of friends and family. This is what I did. I found a way to build a following, to get in these communities, to be a part of a network, be in my Facebook groups, do something on Instagram. You teach them one thing. And then what is the action? Here's how you become a part of this. Here's how you can do it too. You see, a story will get people in the right framework. You guys getting this? Now, if you take what I said before, I'm trying to compound this, right? If you take what I said before, love what you do, know that you're doing a service to people and get them engaged, look through sales as service, you'll start coming up with this story that will anchor everything you do. So now let's take it one step further. We have story, teach, tool. I want you to look through, here's the next lens, and this is something I'm probably going to teach deeper in the advanced training. I want you to look through the lens of hook before the story, teach, action. And a hook really just means to me is a stop sign, is a grabber. What is something you could say in 1 or 2 sentences that can get people to say, all right, I'm going to listen to Nancy. I want to listen to DeCino, or Tammy. You see, I look at life like people scrolling on their Instagram or Facebook, right? People are going really fast. They're just going 100 miles an hour. What is it you could say in a face-to-face conversation, in an email subject line, in a phone call, on a sales page? What can you write as a sentence or 2 that makes someone go from yeah to, oh, crap? I'm going to tell you a little story. I did have infomercials for years. And because there was no other way to sell my books, to sell my course, to sell my program. There wasn't online yet, right? I love social media now, but it didn't exist. So I used to obsess on the hook. I used to picture a busy mom coming home with a baby in her hand, just got done work, throwing something on the oven, and I'm on an infomercial, seemingly annoying that person, and I'd say, what can I say in a sentence or two that would make that mom go, shh, hold on, and put down the remote and listen. So I used to obsess on this, right? And I used to call that my hook. What is my hook to get someone to stop? I want you to look through this lens, because the story can get too long. That's why you got to make it a scene. But you need the first couple of sentences to be so strong that people go, all right. Like I want somebody to go from all right to, okay, I'm listening, right? That's what you got to think in your head. What can I say to get them to go from this to, okay, I'm listening? How do you find that hook? I said it earlier. I'm going to go a little deeper. Is understand your prospect. Because usually your prospect is just you of a couple of years ago, or you of 6 months ago, right? Understand their fears, their desires, their dreams, their nightmares. Live inside the mind of your prospect. If you're talking to someone, what do they fear and what they desire? That's how you come up with a hook. That's how you come up with the language to communicate with them. And just pretend you're talking to you when you started. Pretend you're talking to you a year ago, 5 years ago. Right? So I want to give you an example. So I did infomercials for years. There was a time after he inspired me, I had the number one and he had the number, like we had 1 and 2 infomercial in the country, then he stopped doing infomercials and all this cool stuff. And I realized that I obsessed on this hook. But I had the chance to do an infomercial with Larry King. Now, if you know Larry King, if you're older, you know he is the guy who's been interviewing people for 60 years. I think his first interview was like Jesus. That's how long he's been interviewing people, you know? But he had been interviewing people from, I mean, every president before Ronald Reagan, and just, the guy had been around forever. He gets to interview me, and I'm so excited that what I did is I forgot everything I ever learned about marketing and sales, and I went and just said, I was all like starstruck. Larry King's gonna interview me, and he allowed me to write the open of the show. And I'm like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna look at all the old opens of shows from Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton and Lady Gaga and Prince and Michael Jackson and everybody. I'm just gonna watch what he did and write the same thing. So this is the hook. This is what I'm talking about, the beginning, the first thing you say, whether it's an infomercial or a phone call or a face-to-face or a letter or a voice memo. Think through the lens of a hook every single time where people go, okay, I'm listening. So I write and model the hook that he always did. It went something like this. Tonight, on my show, I'm here with Dean Grazios. He's a multi-millionaire. He's a New York Times best-selling author. And he's written a new book, Millionaire Success Habits. And this book can do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, wow, I watch the show. We fly Larry in. He comes to my studio. We set it up like the Larry King set. We do this great interview. I'm like, Larry King interviewed me. It was amazing. And we play it. And it completely bombs. It completely tanks. I'm like, damn, what the hell? I'm making infomercials. I got Larry King. I watch it. I can't figure it out. We make some shifts. Nothing. And all of a sudden it hit me. No one gives a crap who Dean Grazios is, that he's a multiple New York Times best-selling author, that he's done this, he's done that. I was trying to get people to understand who I was. I didn't follow my own advice. I didn't let them feel understood. So, this is the part that's really important for you to understand. This has got an infomercial. What's this got to do with network marketing? It's all the same when it comes to marketing and sales. It's all the same. Whether you're selling pizzas or getting people on your team or selling your product, it's all the same. So, I take the infomercial. I call Larry up. I said, would you please, now Larry, we're on a first name basis, right? I call Mr. King up and say, would you come back? I'll send a plane to get you, and I only need to record the first sentence. So we come in, we set the setup the same exact way. He puts on the same suit, same tie, we get the background perfect. And Larry King went from saying, tonight on my show, I'm here with Dean Grazios, he's that, this, the other thing. And we changed just one thing. He looked at the camera, and he started the show like this. Have you ever in your adult life looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, wow, I thought I'd be further ahead by now. If you haven't, you're not alone. And my guest tonight, Dean Grazios, has found a way to X, Y, Z and help you. And I want you to know something. We didn't change the whole 30 minutes. I didn't change the cover of the book. I didn't change the price of the book. I didn't change how many pages were in the book. I changed nothing except that first sentence. We spliced it in, and that show went on to be a monster hit. It played for almost 3 years. So I want you to take that lesson and realize that sometimes you could have the perfect story, you could have the perfect product, you could have the opportunity for them to make money, to be on your team, to be a part of something bigger than themselves, but just the first couple of words that came out of your mouth didn't get them to uncross their arms and say, I'm listening. So how do you find that? Let me just ask you guys, have any of you, put it in the chat, have any of you in your adult life ever looked in the mirror and thought to yourself, damn, I thought I'd be doing more by now? That leaned into how you're feeling. That leaned in, it was about you. It wasn't about me anymore. That sentence changed everything. So what I want you to start thinking about is if you get in front of somebody, you get in front of somebody in a room, on a phone call, you get to send an email, what is in the mind of your prospect? The person that you want to help, you want to serve, you want to help them make money, be a part of a team. Live inside their mind. Finish their sentences. Know their fear. Know their desires. I have read more comments from my students than probably anyone I've known. I've read tens of thousands of comments because the way I serve people is to know what they want. How I serve them is I know what they feel. And again, a lot of times it's just me of a few years ago. Guys, when you look at it, and I mean this, when Eric Worre jumps in a plane and flies to Phoenix to sit down with me because he wants to serve you, because he wants to make sure he's doing everything in his power to help you go from a dream to hope to reality, man, that's a man that's got the ability to, he's got the depth and the breadth and the caring to serve you. That's why I'm here today. That's why I took this extra time and I'm here for a bonus. And when you love what you do that much and you know the results you can get from people, you don't have to sell. You don't have to be the perfect person on the phone. You don't have to have the perfect slide presentation. Look at my slide. How many slides I had today? 0. I had a whiteboard and some notes on my thing because I care. Eric cares. If you care at that next level. So take away some of these things. If you care at another level. If you know you're providing massive service. If you know you're doing a disservice if they don't get enrolled. If you love what you do. And then you live inside their mind, understand their fears and their desires, and you obsess on what are the first couple sentences I could say to, you can call it a hook, call it a stop sign, call it a grabber, get them to go, all right, I'm listening. And then tell them a scene out of your life on why you're here, what you're doing, what this product has done for you, what this team has done for you, what this company has done for you. And then teach them a little. The next thing they're going to say to themselves is, are you ready for this? What's next? They're going to be waiting for you to make the offer, to tell them what action they should be taking. When you combine all those things, you'll never sell again. Guys, I appreciate you being here, coming back for lunch here today. I know it's just a quick half hour. I wanted to come up with something that got you inspired, to allow you to move forward, to not be held back by sales when it really is service. And also, I know while I was taking a break, Eric and Barry Baumgartner. Did you guys learn from Barry yet? Barry is absolutely amazing. She is so awesome. And I was going back and forth with them, and I saw a lot of people dying to be a part of an accelerator, dying to engage, to be a part of something bigger than yourself, to gain the capabilities, to keep moving forward. And I know they worked really hard to create something that's available for everyone. Listen, if you're thinking about accelerator, do it. And if you can't, I know, and I think Barry's going to jump on here right now, I know that they created a more affordable program to keep you engaged, to still allow you to work with Eric over the next 90 days, to not be left behind, to stay engaged and not allow this to be the end but the beginning. I don't know exactly what the offer is, but hopefully Barry will let you know. Guys, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for spending this lunchtime with me. And for those of you who get engaged, I look forward to training you even further. Guys, see ya!
Dean Grazios, you guys. Dean Grazios. Do you not love him? I mean, I've known Dean for a number of years now. we partnered on a number of things, and I have to tell you, he is so brilliant. You've seen that today. He has such a big heart. You've seen that today. And just such a good, kind human doing so much change and amazing things in the world. Yeah. And I know he talked to you a lot today about sales and service, as did I, and so it made sense that I would come out here and talk to you a little bit about what we've been cobbling